Hey everybody, it's Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We're getting into off-season shape. It's me, your man, MG, Marcas Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and LaQuan Jones. Florio, welcome back from your walk in the wilderness. I mean, I know where you were. What
I was
wilderness?
Where did you tell the pod I was? Because I'll go along with whatever you said.
You were in parts unknown. I didn't specify.
Yeah, okay. That's my favorite place where wrestlers are from.
Parts unknown?
Yeah, what does it mean? No one knows.
Nobody knows.
From Death Valley, like the Undertaker came, I guess.
Meanwhile, LaQuan, we very much know where you are. You're in New Orleans right now.
Hey!
Yes. What are you doing in New Orleans?
So the HBCU Legacy Bowls this week. Practices are going on this week. We're kind of just trying to get these rosters right. You know, numbers are changing. Players are being added, deleted, et cetera, et cetera. But, right now we just, getting to know some of these players and can't wait to see them play on Saturday.
Very cool. So you will be there through the weekend, so you will actually get to see them.
Yes.
I know for a lot of these, not postseason, these off-season bowl game showcases. I know for a lot of the people who go there, it's about watching the practices and then everybody sort of bails before the actual game happens. But you'll be there. So I hope you are taking notes. I hope you're giving us some insights on,
Gerard
players to watch
Washington.
All right.
That's who I want Let's need to draft. We need a D-back. Let's go.
All right. Also, is our pal Emory Hunt down there? Because usually Emory can be seen floating around at some of these events. I don't know if
he was here last year, but I have not seen him yet. I'm not going to say he's not here. I can't confirm yet, but I'm pretty sure I'll run into him.
I have no knowledge. I'm going to almost guarantee that he is there.
Right.
Yeah. He's been here the last 2 years that I've been coming, so he's probably boots on the ground.
Every bowl game, every practice, everything you can go to. Yes. So I'd imagine he's
Which is part of the reason we love having him on during draft season, because he's good to pick out a couple of names that generally the consensus is not talking about. And more often than not, he has hipped us to some guys that, we were glad that we found out about after the fact. So anyway, wanted to start kind of prepping for free agency because that hits in less than a month. The new league year begins on March 11th. So want to kind of start prepping it, talking generally just overview about position, who's available. I will start this off by saying that if you just sort of scroll through the names, it's not a very exciting year when it comes to free agency, but definitely some names of note. And then as we go forward, start kind of breaking down the team needs. So I think starting next week, we can kind of dive into what the individual teams, what they did last year, what their expectations are, and sort of some of the things they need. So we can kind of start getting ready for that right up until free agency hits. I know the combine lands in there somewhere. Fellas, I think I say this every year. The combine is interesting for, I think, real football scouts. I think it's hard to tie it into a fantasy aspect.
Yeah.
Because
that
guy's really fast. Who couldn't use a fast guy? That's sort of.
I think it almost is a negative for fantasy, right? Because we start hyping up players that maybe didn't shine in college and stuff. And then you end up kind of chasing your tail, I think.
Yeah, so that's not to say we won't at least hit on it a little bit, but
I'll be watching.
Don't expect us to do any really deep, in-depth analysis, or at least previews of the combine. It is a necessary thing, but it is not the only thing when it comes to fantasy. Did have a couple of news headlines that popped up over the last couple of days. This one maybe less news, less of a question and more of a comment sort of thing. New Ravens offensive coordinator Declan Doyle. Side note, when you go to NFL.com, it says Ravens OC Declan Doyle, 29, as though his exact age has something to do with what the story is. Anyway.
Sounds like a screen name.
He's the same
Declan
age
Doyle,
as
29.
That's his password, probably.
Maybe that was the point, that it's the same age as Lamar Jackson. Either way, the actual story is that he was asked about Lamar and he said, quote, "There's even a higher ceiling to his game," which, wow. So I'm going to ask you, Florio, hype train or smokescreen on the fact that there's still a higher level that Lamar Jackson can go to, because he's already hit a pretty high level in his career.
Ravens fans already hate me, so I have no hesitancy saying smokescreen. And I'm saying that, though, for two reasons. One, Lamar Jackson is already an all-time great, and he has already performed like an all-time great, right? Like in 2024, he set the record for most fantasy points by a quarterback. He had one of the most efficient seasons by a quarterback ever. So saying he's going to break the historic marks that he's kind of already set is a bold call. But on top of that, some of the Ravens' weapons are starting to age, right? Like Derrick Henry's getting up there. Mark Andrews is getting up there. They have needs at wide receiver. And then I question the play calling a little bit. Like Declan Doyle is unproven. He could be great. I'm not saying he's not, but we don't know what he is right now because he has had 1 year as an OC, as a coach ever, right? Not even just in the NFL, like since he has started coaching. And that was last year with Ben Johnson, and he wasn't calling the plays. So you have a first-time play caller. I actually think this is something that hasn't gotten talked about enough, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it a lot all summer long, but like it adds a little volatility to the Ravens players this year, I think, because maybe they don't miss a beat, and maybe Lamar is just that good, and everyone, and I think he is, but like, and everyone just doesn't miss a beat and everything stays how it is. But a lot of changes coming, first-time play caller. To me, it gives me a little bit of hesitancy and something that I think we need to kind of work our way through this summer.
Florio sort of touched on a thing that I was thinking when I kind of went through this story was that, one, Lamar Jackson has been awesome. And at this point in his career, I guess it's possible that he could somehow find another gear and get even better. It's sort of hard to imagine. But LaQuan, to me, part of it isn't on Lamar Jackson. It's on the guys around him, right? The fact that at this point, Zay Flowers is a nice piece, but nobody looks at Zay Flowers. Like, he's not keeping defensive coordinators up at night, trying to figure out how to stop Zay Flowers. Rashad Bateman hasn't panned out to be the guy that we kind of hoped he would be. Mark Andrews is on the decline. Isaiah Likely, and we'll probably talk about this, he's a free agent, so who knows if he comes back next year. Derrick Henry has been great. Derrick Henry is, Father Time's catching up to him like he does for all of us. I don't think, LaQuan, this is necessarily a Lamar Jackson issue. I think this is, like Florio talked about, maybe a personnel issue. That, if anything's holding Lamar Jackson back, it's that at some point, like we see with Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson can't do everything. Like, somebody else has got to help out, right?
Exactly. You forgot, the one piece, the old retirement home wide receiver there, whoever they may be this offseason in terms of their pieces. But honestly, it's like, okay, I hear what you're saying. This is a smokescreen, just to get that out of the way, because it's just coach talk at this point, because it's like you're unproven as a play caller. You're getting Lamar Jackson, who is coming off not one of his greatest seasons and with injuries as well. It's like, okay, you say that, but let's see you do that, and that's why I'm a little hesitant even going into this draft, but just thinking like, okay, well, Zay Flowers, he's a flex, a wide receiver too at best on a good week. And then who else? Free agents at the tight ends. Derrick Henry, obviously he's a piece you're going to draft, but then it's like this whole entire identity of this offense is going to change. Like, maybe they do get an alpha wide receiver and not just one guy that can do big plays every now and again. Like, it's just very questionable what they're going to be doing this entire offseason in terms of what this offense is going to look like. I'll tell you one thing, if they're going to improve anything, improve Lamar in the red zone. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the red zone last year, better than Jackson Dart in the games that he was available. So let's get some more touchdowns. Let's see if he can get back to that form of him running out of the pocket and being as dangerous, because ever since that historic fantasy season he's had, this past season doesn't look like he's coming in with momentum.
Question for you guys. Do you worry about Lamar aging? Because I know, like, we've seen, like, quarterbacks are playing well into their 30s now, right? Like Matt Stafford being a great example of that. So I think, like, quarterbacks have a longer career window than maybe they did 10, 15 years ago. But with someone like Lamar, who it's so reliant on his legs, right? Like, that's what makes him so difficult to guard. He's a great passer too, but to LaQuan's point, like, as a passer and as a runner last year, it was his worst season maybe since like his rookie year. And I know injuries had a lot to do with it, but that style of play does tend to lead to more injuries. So do you worry about Lamar as he ages?
I do.
I mean, I guess it's a fair question. It hasn't entered into my thinking yet, just because, like, Lamar runs very effectively, but at least so far, he's done a fairly good job of avoiding big hits. They don't use him in a tush push or goal line kind of thing, right? I mean, that was why we love Derrick Henry. We're like, he's going to get those short yardage touchdowns because they don't use Lamar the way the Bills use Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that to take into account. I will say, just personally, I haven't really thought much about it yet.
I don't think we're there yet, but I think maybe in a year or two, if we see some cracks, I might worry then.
Yeah.
I'm worried now, honestly, with this new offense, because honestly, with the new play caller, he's probably going to tell Lamar, go out there and run. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen you, elevated as a passer, do what you do best. And that may be something that can hurt him this season. Because again, last season was riddled with injuries. Like, I chalked that up. But like, now we're coming in with even more question marks about the weapons, about him, about the play calling. There's just too much there on the plate where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the L's list that me and Marcus talked about, on the last episode.
We decided we're going to come up with it's going to be a segment at some point, the L's list. The guys that, you know what, I'm not drafted, and if I take an L, so be it.
So what? I don't care.
You're putting Lamar on that list? I'm not there yet.
Oh, I'm putting Lamar on that list. I'm putting...
He's in my top 2 still.
Like, I feel he will still be a fantasy asset for sure, but I just don't think he's going to have the season that we're expecting. Like, we're expecting this every single week, QB1, where I think he's going to have some lows where it's just like, we've seen it, flashes of it last year. We're like, all right, clearly he's not healthy. Clearly something's changed. Clearly is not clicking and something's working on a consistent every single week basis. Like, don't get me wrong. He is still great at the position. I'm just worried about how you brought up age. I'm worried about him taking hits. I'm worried about the injuries. I'm worried about this new play caller. There's just too much on that plate for me to say, hey, this guy is the second quarterback off the board. I might get a little hesitant with that.
All right. All right, we're going to bookmark that. We're going to put that away. We're going to come back to that later.
So Josh QB1 is all I heard.
Yes, Josh Allen is the QB1 in fantasy.
I mean, say that with a little bit of joy in your heart.
I'll take it.
No, I love Joshua. Joshua's my guy, man. I got no hate for Joshua.
I said that like you're his mom. Like, what, Joshua? All right, anyway.
That's the homie.
Former Trojan, former Bill, former Ram, Robert Woods is hanging him up after 13 years in the NFL. So, like, I think we could all claim a little bit of Robert Woods, right? I mean, he somehow touched all of our all teams that we cheer for at some point. I saw a lot of praise for Robert Woods in his career. Everybody sort of big upping the nickname Bobby Trees because that's a pretty awesome nickname. I saw a lot of comment about how he was kind of the first Sean McVay receiver, right? I mean, they brought him in and he really kind of found a home and found a role. He became statistically more productive there than he had been at that point in his career. Then obviously Cooper Kupp follows. Now we're into Puka Nacua or whatever, but Bobby Trees was kind of the first. I don't think we have any illusions. He's not an NFL Hall of Famer, but as I always ask when some of these guys like this retire, LaQuan, I'm going to ask you to try to be unbiased. Is Robert Woods a fantasy Hall of Famer?
He could be honorably mentioned. And I think when we think about that 2018, 2019, like when we were out there drafting, like he was in that bag of the Tyler Lockett's, right? Like you get them late in drafts. You love that you got them as your flex. They perform at a high level on a great offense. And it's like they're underappreciated just based off their ADP. But like fantasy Hall of Famers, like we think of the Larry Fitzgeralds. Like we think of the guys that were like putting the crown on, like this is my wide receiver one. But me as a Rams fan, I appreciate Robert Woods being one of those first big moves that McVay did when he came aboard. Like him and Andrew Whitworth were like the best signings that I think, to kick this new new era of the Rams. And like bringing over Sammy Watkins, that was like a connection in Buffalo, which was dope for a little period of time. And like one of the best Robert Wood plays I can remember. And I actually had him on my fantasy roster, and I went to the game at MetLife when it was against the Giants. It was that 3rd and 33. And like that was the first game that I was able to take my wife, like me and Sabrina, first Rams game. We were at the 50-yard line, great seats. The energy was high. We blow them out. And then like that 54-yard touchdown was just amazing to see him do, because it's like, this is who he is, bro. Like this is a straight playmaker. So honorable mention in the Fantasy Hall of Fame, but I can't put him in there in the Hall of Famers.
I think it's fair. Only had 2,000-yard seasons. I think it's
Never
because
more than 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think it's because his impact was bigger than the actual stats I think ever showed.
Huge locker room guy.
But also because, for whatever reason, it never quite worked out in Buffalo.
They were just running the ball. That was the McCoy years where like they didn't throw.
But
hey,
that's good. Everything happens for a reason, because he was one of our best pass blocking wide receivers.
So I remember, I was working at the NFL when the trade went down and the press release that came out. I mean, I kind of chuckled to myself. Now, mind you, look, you know me, it's fight on forever around here, right? But sort of seeing that it wasn't, Robert Woods wasn't putting up numbers the way he did in college. And I remember the press release came out, and that was the thing they highlighted. It's like one of the best blocking wide receivers in the NFL. And I was like,
thanks, Buffalo.
All right, man.
You really sharpened that sword.
It seemed like a backhanded compliment,
Yeah.
It was like a day apart. Him and Sammy Watkins went to the Rams, because I remember it very vividly. Maybe I'm joining it in my mind, and it was a little bit further apart, but it happened very quickly. It felt like, and I was just like sad. Because I was like, these are our whole wide receiving core gone. But Robert Woods to me he's one of the Rams, put him in your Hall of your Ring of Honor or something like that. But Marcus, the MLB Hall of Fame rules. Like his first year on the ballot, I think would be his only year on the ballot. I don't think he gets the 5%. He's just someone you're like, oh, I remember having Robert Woods and stuff. And then it kind of, that's it.
Yeah, I do remember though that when both he and Watkins first got there, it might have been it was a Thursday night game or something. I just remember Jared Goff like hitting big plays to both of those guys, and I think I tweeted a joke about like Tyrod Taylor sitting in Buffalo being like, "What the hell, man?"
Here's one crazy thing for you that I just looked up. Well, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua each only have 2,000-yard seasons under their belt. I was a little shocked by that.
Wow. Puka, I feel like will end up with...
He's going to have a lot more.
He'll have a few more by the time it's all said.
Injuries, Wood injuries as well. Like Brandon Cook's injuries. Like that was the year all three of them were supposed to have 1,000 yards. And Kupp, if he didn't get hurt, he was on pace. Like we would have had 3 wide receivers with 1,000 yards in a single season. Like, that would have been kind of amazing.
That would have been amazing for sure. Speaking of wide receivers, this guy very much more likely to get into the Hall of Fame. Mike Evans says he wants to come back for 2026, but according to his agent, he's going to explore free agency. Wow.
I don't believe it.
I mean, I know we've all said on this show, like, it just feels like Mike Evans is a buck for life, right? That seeing him in another uniform would make my brain itch. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. Either of you have a good immediate fantasy fit? We'll talk more wide receivers in a little bit, but just off the top of your head, do you have a good fantasy fit? Because I have one that I think would be interesting.
Ravens.
That was one I was going to say. We're going to
send him to the retirement home?
Yeah.
Already? Yeah. I think he's got more juice.
The Bills, to copy what everyone is saying in football media right now, like any wide receiver, it's like, they'd be good in Buffalo. I think Tennessee but I don't want to. I think he's going to go to a contender if he leaves Tampa Bay. Just go the Chiefs, like anywhere that has a quarterback that is willing to throw into tight windows, because I don't think Evans is the separator he was early in his career, but he's still one of the best contested catch wide receivers in the league. So somewhere like that, I think with a veteran quarterback, kind of like Devontae, right? Like we had questions about Devontae after his Jet stint. Like is it starting to become the end? And then you put him with a veteran quarterback like Stafford in a good offensive system and he's rejuvenated. I think Evans in the right fit could have a bounce back year, kind of like Devontae. I even don't think it's a bounce back. Like he was great when he was out there. He was just hurt for much of the year.
I got one. It doesn't quite fit your criteria. And if there are any Bucks fans out there who live like LaQuan does, they're gonna be mad. But what about Carolina? Pair him up with Ted McMillan. Give Bryce Young a big target to throw to.
He can't do that.
I mean, it would be sort of disrespectful. This would be disrespectful because this is free agency. This isn't like the Bucks cut him and said, be on your way. Like, this is just him choosing to go to the ops. But I'm just talking about it just in terms of just what it could be. Like, put him with Ted McMillan. I think we've seen, like Xavier Legette, like it's whatever. Like Jalen Coker's a free agent. I know you said, LaQuan, you were in on Jatavian Sanders, but like...
Yes.
I mean...
That's my forever crush. I can't let him go, Paul.
All right. But like Mike Evans with the Panthers, that might be kind of wild, yo.
I mean, I would love to see it, but it's like...
Yeah, I mean, from a loyalty standpoint, that sucks, right? Like,
you just lost to the division to them,
Yeah, like, that would be...
Don't pull a KD.
Yeah, Tampa would hate him forever.
Hey, by the way, KD did not deny that was his burner. I'm just saying.
He just said he's not there to talk about it.
They asked if that was his burner. He didn't say no. That's what I'm...
So my teammates know I'm locked in. They hate
That's what I'm taking. That's what I'm taking away from this whole thing. Free agency, just a few weeks away. It's coming quick, man. Like we're about to be in the last week of February, like already.
It's crazy.
Nearly 2 months into the year already. So free agency right around the corner here. I kind of put down a loose list, just a very quick draft list of some of the guys that are out there. But I want to start with the franchise tag because that obviously will determine who is and who is not available. Judy Batista did a quick primer. She listed 7 guys to keep an eye on, and 5 of them are offensive players. The one she mentioned, George Pickens, Daniel Jones, Kenneth Walker III, he of the Super Bowl MVP award, Kyle Pitts, and Breece Hall. Fellas, I would expect Daniel Jones is not going anywhere, right? Like,
yeah, he's probably...
I can't imagine the Colts are letting him go. We sort of talked about George Pickens. I guess we're assuming he gets tagged. The quick question is, do they trade him or do they just tag him?
Tag and hold on to him? Crazy. I mean, why?
At this point, do you put anything by Jerry Jones?
No, the Parsons was against the grain. Yeah, the Parsons was against the grain move. Like I didn't see that happening, but like Pickens helps Dak. He helps the offense be able to get over that hump. You just need to work on the defense. But tagging him and then trading him just does not make sense to me.
All right. So of the guys here, though, Pickens, Jones, K-Dub, Pitts, Breece, is there anybody, Florio, you would like most to see hit free agency? Somebody that just needs to get out from where they are?
Breece Hall, right? Like I think we all know what Breece Hall can be. He had his first 1,000-yard season this past year. He's hit 350 or more receiving yards in each of the last 3 years. The touchdowns have been very limited, and even like watching Breece Hall this year, like he had one game late in the year, I forget who it was against, where he finished with like 130 yards, and 65 of them came on like a last second touchdown run that he just broke out and while the Jets were getting blown out. Like, imagine if Breece Hall was on a team that played competitive games and had positive game script. Like, he could be top 10, top 5 fantasy running back, I think, but the Jets have continued to limit his ceiling. His floor was way lower than you would like it to be most games because of the Jets. So yeah, and I know they're saying they might tag him. Like he has made it very clear, I think, that he does not want to be there. So just pull the Band-Aid off, let him go. I get it. You're like going all in if you're Aaron Glenn and stuff, because this is your last chance probably this season. But like for fantasy, for Breece, for everyone else outside of Jets and their fans, it is advantageous if they let him play elsewhere in 2026.
I mean, how do you go all in if you're the Jets right now? Like you don't have enough pieces to go all in, especially in the division that you play in, right? I mean, you have the reigning AFC champ. You've got the Buffalo Bills who, until last year had the division on lock for a handful. Like, you're not going all in on anything, are you?
No.
Having a star running back on a team like the Jets, Marcus, is like when a last place baseball team has an all-star closer. It's like that they're not doing you any good. Like move on.
I wish I understood that.
Dude, it's literally, it's I don't know, it's putting rims on a Prius. Like what? Not even, like an old Prius.
I've seen that. I've seen rims on the Prius.
It never looks good.
It doesn't look great.
It looks awful.
You know what? As soon as I said it, I'm like, I shouldn't be surprised. Somebody out there has probably put rims on a Prius.
Speaking of Breece Hall, real quick, he did tweet out his top 5 favorite movie franchises.
Okay.
Number 2 is Star Wars, Marcus.
Number 2. All right. I mean, what's number 1?
Harry Potter.
Okay. I mean, look, he is. I get it. I mean, like that was in his wheelhouse, right? Like knowing
Fast and the Furious on there.
Knowing how old he is.
3 is Rocky and Creed, he says. Then 4 is Jurassic Park. 5 is James Bond, Florio Film Festival. And then honorable mention, Fast and the Furious. I wanted that in the top 5, but it's hard to knock out any of those other ones.
I probably would have took off Jurassic Park because Jurassic Park 1 and 3 were good to me. And that was it. And then
the new ones aren't great.
It's jumped the shark. It's jumped the prehistoric giant saber-toothed shark or whatever.
The only thing that could stop dinosaurs is family, though. So,
yo, there's dinosaurs in the next movie, probably.
Honestly, like
they haven't ruled it out.
I'm not even sure that I'd keep the Rocky franchise in there. I mean,
nah, you got to keep Rocky in there, man.
I do love the Rocky movies.
It's hit now in multiple generations.
Except I love Michael B. Jordan, but basically Creed is just Rocky in black.
And Creed 3 is Rocky.
The story.
It's just Rocky in black, man. It's just, we just took Apollo Creed's kid, and we just did the whole thing all over again. Like,
and
it's fine, it's entertaining.
You know what?
But let's not make sure
I enjoyed it.
It's not breaking any ground here. So that's
Miss Huxtable's his mom. Like, come on, you gotta like it.
Look, man, for kids of a certain age, Claire Huxtable. This is always a crush. Oh, you got a crush on Claire? How could you not?
How could you not?
How could you not? Anyway, does Kyle Pitts leave? LaQuan, do you think they tag Kyle Pitts? Does he?
Yeah, this seems like a lock to be tagging because, like, Tyler Algier, he's probably on the move. So I feel like they'll have that tag available for Pitts because he has to stay as part of the piece of that offense, especially if you're going to be having these questions about Penix. He needs as much weapons as possible at this point. So I think that's more so of understanding, like, yeah, Pitts has to stay at all costs. So I think that'll happen most likely.
Let him walk. Let him walk.
Where?
So that's he's gonna say New England.
New England
Ew.
is. I wasn't gonna say them, but they do make sense there. I do think Atlanta also makes some sense, but like the Commanders, Denver, and then I got 2 sneaky ones.
Okay.
The 49ers and the Chiefs, depending on what happens to Travis Kelce. If he hangs them up.
Well, Travis seems like he's playing. I mean, they've asked him recently. He feels like he's playing. So I think don't give them Kyle Pitts. Then he's going to be sitting behind a farewell tour. Like, no.
I don't know, man. That. I think Pitts, right now, Kyle Pitts is better than Travis Kelce.
I agree.
At this moment, he's better than.
But I do think
Kelce.
they wouldn't get.
They would
Kelce
honor. They will honor Kelce. They will give him this farewell tour.
Hey, he's getting married in May. Maybe he decides, like, hey, I don't need to. I'm married to a billionaire now. I don't need to risk my future health.
I don't need to, get wrecked every couple of weeks just because. It's like I've won multiple Super Bowls. I've achieved pretty much everything I can achieve on a football field.
How about Pitts in Tennessee? I would like that.
Interesting.
Because Chigakoku, he's a free agent. Gunnar Helmer is a rookie going to his second year. I think Pitts would be a nice plug and play.
All right. Interesting.
Let's put that in the universe.
We will put that in the universe. We're going to talk to tight ends in just a little bit. So let's get to the quarterbacks right now on the free agent list. I kind of split them up into like the notable names and sort of the others. Quarterback, it's kind of bleak. Daniel Jones, maybe at the top of the list, but we all sort of suspect he's going to get the franchise tag, so he may be out of play. Aaron Rodgers, who is making noises about coming back for another year. The other notable names, Marcus Mariota. And like when I say notable, I might be stretching the definition a little bit, but Marcus Mariota, Carson Wentz, and Florio's early offseason favorite, Malik Willis. Some of the other names of note, Russell Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, if he decides to come back, and LaQuan's favorite backup quarterback, James Richard Garoppolo.
Stop it. Never.
So, I mean, you've had several opportunities to do this, but I will let you again, Florio. Malik Willis has to be the most interesting name here, right? Amongst all these guys.
I'll raise it a higher one. For me personally, Malik Willis is the player I am most invested in heading into free agency. Like because like Breece Hall, like he's going to be good for fantasy. It's just a matter of how much, right? But as long as Malik Willis ends up anywhere that gives him a chance to start, I'm going to be very bullish on him in fantasy. And I apologize if you're going to be watching the Insiders later. I'm talking Malik Willis. You're going to hear this again. But over the last 2 seasons, small sample size, I get it. But of quarterbacks who threw 80 or more passes, he led them in passer rating, completion percentage, EPA per dropback, and success rate. And in half of those 8 games, he scored a rushing touchdown, or he scored 4 rushing touchdowns in those 8 games, and he averaged 40 rushing yards per game. Like, there's a reason why Justin Fields, even when he was terrible last year, had some really big spike weeks in fantasy. There's a reason why, like Kyler Murray has always been a better fantasy than real life quarterback. Anthony Richardson fits any quarterback that can run. Tyrod, going back years, right? Like any quarterback who's ever been able to run is a cheat code in fantasy. And Malik Willis clearly can run. He's got a cannon for an arm. And in recent years, he went from an absolute project that like slid in the draft to a highly efficient downfield throwing quarterback, one that is going to take what the defense gives him. Like the progress he has made in a short time, to me, is off the charts. I think Arizona makes a lot of sense because of the LaFleur connection. I know it's not the same LaFleur, but it's his brother. But to me, if he becomes a starting quarterback, he is someone that I am going to bang the table for all summer and draft a bunch in fantasy.
No worries that he's only made 6 starts in 4 seasons.
It's a little concerning, but he's going to run, right? Like he's not a quarterback that I would take and be like, set it and forget it. He's my only quarterback, but I would probably treat him a lot like I did Justin Fields last year, where like I'm willing to pull him up the board a bit for the upside, and then I'll take one of these safe. Because we were talking last week about, right, like how quarterback, after you get past a certain number, there's a lot of similar options. I'll just take a second one from there that I feel, give me Justin Herbert, or like last year, Stafford was in that range. Like you could find options you feel good about starting and just pair him with the upside of Malik Willis.
I saw some chatter, obviously, look, this is the time for speculation, right? But Frank Reich is now the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets. Frank Reich has some history with Carson Wentz. LaQuan, could a guy like Carson Wentz or maybe a Marcus Mariota land in green and end up being a starting quarterback this year? Because I don't really know what the Jets are going to do. Like, is it possible we see one of these sort of retread guys as the starter in New York for week 1?
Well, I can probably see Mariota. I can flirt with the idea of Wentz, but he's coming off an injury, and it's like, I don't know if Wentz still has that starting quarterback caliber in him to be leading the Jets to victory. I mean, the Jets are rumored to be releasing Justin Fields, so it's one of those things where, like, they're going to be left with the bag. And it's like, it's one of those things, they have money to spend, but then it's like, this is what's left. Like the others column that you have here on the rundown, this is, you should all retire. But I can honestly see them picking one of these guys to just keep them afloat. Unless they pay the bag to Florio's guy, Malik Willis, where, again, I can kind of picture and paint that picture where I can see him in green in New York, but these are great. These are not great situations. Like I just feel like the Jets are going to jet.
If Malik Willis goes to the Jets, are you out then?
I mean, I was in on Justin Fields. I would still be in, but I would be a little bit less excited.
And also, LaQuan, you talk about like the Jets having money to spend. Like at what point though, like, I don't know. I don't feel like that's a plus necessarily because
they don't know how to spend it.
They don't know how to spend, right? It's the drill tweet. Help, my family is dying, right? Like
my thing is though, like they drafted well. Like we all go back to that Sauce and Breece Hall year
Did
when they
they?
drafted. Like, yo, they smashed the draft. They killed it. And then they did nothing with it. And now their guys are banging on the door, let me out free. It's like they have the money to spend on a Malik Willis, but they also don't have many options of guys that we have on this list that give them the competitive upside as much as a Malik Willis. As bad as I don't want him to go there, I think that's the only move that I can see where there could be upside for them to be competitive. Because it ain't Flacco, it ain't Mariota, it
He's
ain't
gonna
Wentz.
want to go there too, though.
I mean,
Why not? You get a starting job. You get an opportunity. I think he can't sit here and try to pick and choose.
I
with six
actually
starts.
think he's going to get to pick which starting job he wants. Like I think of all these names, Daniel Jones is going to the Colts. Rodgers sounds like he's going back to Pittsburgh. After that, I think teams would give Malik Willis a chance over like a Russell Wilson or any of these. That's maybe I'm reading it completely wrong, but
I don't
that's
think you're
been
wrong.
my thinking.
He's younger. He probably is going to come a little bit cheaper than some of these other guys.
Same contract as Justin Fields, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a ridiculous
If you're Malik
idea.
Willis, you saw what just happened with Justin Fields. And not just like those struggles, right? Like the owner throwing him under the bus and saying if our quarterback could complete a pass, we would be better. You want to go now because this could be Malik Willis's only shot, right? Like you want to go tie yourself to that franchise. I
Money
really think
talks.
the Cardinals, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's one that I can
But then
see.
they got a couple weeks to figure out Kyler because his 2027 roster, his base salary
It
will be guaranteed.
feels to me like he's
It's
gonna be
coming.
gone.
That was also the other part of this, right? Like I didn't include Kyler Murray or Tua Tagovailoa. Technically, they are not free agents at this point. They are under contract to their respective teams. We're all expecting that they're not going to be with their teams once free agency starts. But for now, they have homes. So I did not include them in this list. Over to the wide receivers, some of the notables. I put Tyreek Hill, but with a big asterisk because, as you and I talked about on Tuesday, LaQuan, it seems very unlikely that he plays at all, or certainly not any meaningful snaps this year. Mike Evans, who now has sort of declared he is putting himself out there on the market. George Pickens, who, again, we think is going to get tagged, but is hitting free agency. Christian Kirk, Alec Pierce, Deebo Samuel, Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Jennings, Marquise Brown, Keenan Allen, who I have personally said I think is just going to retire, but maybe he comes back. Who knows? Romeo Doubs, Wan'Dale Robinson, and then some of the others, DeAndre Hopkins, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Jalen Coker. Obviously, Evans and Pickens seem like the top two names on this list, but LQ, who's the most interesting name after that?
Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce could be a plug and play for multiple teams right now that needs a deep threat, a guy that could stretch the field. And this past season, we've seen this guy can hit 1,000 yards on 85 targets. You know what I mean? Like he's one of those guys that can make up for that yards per reception to get, the offense going. Like I want him in LA, to be honest. Like we didn't use Tutu Atwell. I know folks out there saying like, oh, you guys haven't used, 3 wide receivers.
How many
in a long
receivers
time.
do you need?
Yeah, relax. We need them all. We got to get back to the big dance, brother. But I would say this, like him in Buffalo. I wouldn't hate it. In Tennessee, like there's multiple areas of like plug and play that Alec Pierce is probably one of the hottest free agents right now. Like it would be cool to see him back in Indy, but again, it's the quarterback position that I think. Why not?
Because
It's the quarterback situation.
not even that. One, I think he's going to get paid a lot more money than people are anticipating. And because I do agree, he was my answer to the
He's going to
question
get a
as
Christian
well.
Kirk contract.
I think the Colts should have used him more as their wide receiver one. Like, I know they used him kind of only as a downfield guy, but I think he's got more in his bag than that. So I kind of want to see him go somewhere where he can become the no. And you said the Bills and Titans, those were the two ideal spots that came to mind for me for him. But in either shot, he's got the chance to be the alpha wide receiver one. And I think he can be that. Maybe he can't. And maybe the Colts are right and they know more than me. But just as someone who watches a lot of Alec Pierce, it felt like they were like, he was their 4th highest targeted player last year. Like that shouldn't be, in my opinion.
And cracked 1,000 yards. Like I feel like there's more to his game, like you said, and it's like he needs the right situation. I wouldn't put New York out of it. The Giants. I look at Alec Pierce as like one of the hottest guys at the top of the list that needs to get it back. But if he was to go back to Indy, right? Like then what are they doing with Pittman? Because it seems like they've kind of washed your hands with Pittman at this point with the injuries and the lack of playing consistency. Like, he would essentially be their one if it's Riley Reid or Daniel Jones. So
if they move on from Pittman, I'm cool with him going back to Indy.
Yeah, that was more the angle that I was going to take with him because, like, he could be like, I remember when Matt Ryan was there reading camp reports that he was out there cutting it up. Like, he was out there killing it. And, like, we're like, wait, are you sure this guy? Yeah, because Pierce can really play.
Pierce can play. I question if he's actually a wide receiver one. I think he's, again, it's the starting pitcher, the number one pitcher versus the ace, right? I think he can be maybe the top target in an offense.
You guys are speaking different languages again.
I still have questions about that, right? Like, I don't think.
Explain to me in soccer, Marcus.
Are you a midfielder or are you a 10?
I'm a midfielder.
But like, are you a like, you know, like Messi is a 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, right.
A 10, a 9, a 7. Yeah.
Right. But like, are you that dude or are you just just
wearing the jersey?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
it's like
okay,
that.
I get it.
It's like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm gonna make him. I think he could be a fantasy wide receiver one if you put him in Buffalo. I wouldn't rank him as that. I'd have him as a 2, but I do think.
But is Joe Brady going to throw downfield?
The rumors that I've heard from talking to people, and just like Brady kind of insinuated, was that Sean McDermott had a lot more to say about the offense week to week than Brady like was kind of led on. And he did in his press conference be like, we want to air it out more. So we'll see if he can do that. But I don't think they've had the personnel that could be a field stretcher, whereas Alec Pierce is tried and true, and we know he can be that.
Yeah.
I think he can do more than that. Yeah.
And he left for Romeo Doubs.
I do really like Romeo Doubs in this class as well. I think he's another one that people might be surprised that I expect him to have a pretty bullish market this free agency.
Get him to New Orleans. Get him to New Orleans to play outside from Olave, because the thing is, they won't have to drop such a big bag on him because, again, he'll be acting as the 1B, right? Because he'll be with Chris Olave. They have Jawan Johnson. Tyler Shuck looks great. That's my guy now. I know I was talking bad about him the first couple of weeks, but that is my guy right now. And I know the people down here love him as well. I just feel like Romeo Doubs in New Orleans, that will help that step forward for Shuck in that offense. Because, again, I've watched more Saints games this past season than I've ever had, in my entire life for whatever reason. And watching them, they're a scrappy team, man. I think they're just 1 year away from actually competing in that division.
I mean, the division's wide open, right? There's no dominant team in that.
I feel like it's been wide open since like 2009.
It's been like this for a while now. No, you're right.
Tennessee.
It's been like this for a while.
Tennessee.
Like, how you champion for the Saints, the Titans are that team for me. Like I'm going to be like an honorary Titans fan this year. Like I think
I like
just
it.
like the Patriots last year. I know I kind of hate them because I'm a Bills fan, but I was very high on them coming into the year. I feel like the Titans have a chance to be.
Would Daboll use him like a Darius Slayton? Like, is that where you're kind of painting that picture? Like he would be.
They just need a one, right? Like I don't. No disrespect to those rookies from last year. I think they're very solid pieces. I don't think they have a top target on their team right now. And I think Dobbs.
They still got Ridley.
And
no, he's hurt though.
I don't know, man. We got to stop trying to make fetch happen with Calvin Ridley. It is what it is at this point. And like, I think in defense of, I think you're right about Iomanner and DK. But in their defense, too, they were also day 3 picks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so like,
they're not supposed to be a 1, Like they're very solid players. But.
Right. And I think so far, through 1 year, I think they have lived up to what the expectations of them should be for based on where they were drafted, for sure. So Romeo Doubs could be an interesting fit. I do like New Orleans, but I do think Tennessee is interesting. I'm very curious what the Titans do because I like what I saw out of Cam Ward. I just need it to be so that like every passing down isn't him like drop back, scramble out of the pocket, and then just heave the ball downfield. Like I need him to be able to have more. To do that. So
I see you highlighting a name in there, Marcus.
Oh, no, I just clicked on accident.
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk about your boy Jawan.
No, Jawan Jennings is a nice piece. He's a complimentary player. I think
he thinks he's a 1.
I think he overvalued himself this past year a little bit.
He had leverage though.
But no, I didn't mean to highlight that was
he's a good like secondary option in this class, I think.
Right.
Secondary, yeah.
No,
he's a good two.
I think that's
he would probably be a one. He would probably be a one in New England. Let's be honest.
I think a lot of these guys are sort of secondary options, right? They're nice complementary pieces. Aside from Mike Evans and George Pickens, I think a lot of these guys are sort of secondary options and could be impactful in the right situation, but they're not game changers at any point. A little bit of a free agency primer, talking about some of the interesting names out there. Of course, as we get closer to the start of free agency, we'll kind of go a little more in depth on some of these things. And then obviously, once guys start signing in the legal
tampering period.
Yeah, I think our bosses don't like us using the T word, but that's basically what it is. I mean, if you can start talking to guys before the actual signing period starts, like what else am I going to say about it? Then that's what it is. If you want them to start talking about it before then, just open the thing before then. Anyway.
Hey, just look at what the NBA does, right? They're actively recruiting players while the season is still going on.
Like, the NBA is the wild west when it comes to player movement, man. Like, the NBA, I feel like the NBA is sort of like Game of Thrones in the sense of, like, at some point in Game of Thrones, like, everybody was fair game to die, pretty much. And, like, that's the NBA. Like, everybody's fair game to get traded or go to another team to the point that it's just like, you're desensitized to it.
There's like 5 players maybe that like Jokic, SGA, Luka, even Luka got traded. Like, and so would KD be Littlefinger then?
Probably.
He's just whispering everywhere.
Things didn't end well for Littlefinger. I'm just.
Wait, you haven't seen Game of Thrones, LQ?
No, I told you that's a blind spot. It was literally parallel to The Walking Dead. So like we were walking dead. And then
you should watch it.
You should watch it.
And then A Night of the Seventh Kingdom. If you guys haven't watched it yet, it is amazing.
Yeah, I just the whole. I know they just put out the new trailer for House of Dragon, and like just because that has been so underwhelming, it's.
I haven't even finished House of Dragons, right? I might not, but I highly recommend this one. Like, it's back to prime Game of Thrones, in my opinion.
All right, I'll check it out. Running backs, some of the notables out there: Najee Harris, Austin Eckler. I put with an asterisk because I have a sad feeling that we may have seen the last of Austin Eckler there. Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Rico Dowdle, Breece Hall, who we talked about, Kenneth Walker III, who I suspect is going to get tagged and not leaving Seattle, J.K. Dobbins. Some of the other names out there, Nick Chubb, Kenneth Gainwell, who had a nice run for fantasy, but I don't know that the rest of the NFL is going to value him quite like that. Rachaad White, Isaiah Pacheco. Florio, the most interesting name out of that group for you.
So I think it's Breece Hall, but we've already talked about him. Kenneth Walker, if he becomes like, I just want Kenneth Walker to go somewhere where they let him be a 1, right? Like unquestioned, we're going to give you the bulk of carries. But like you said, he's a big franchise candidate. ETN, we're going to talk about him in a second. He's another very interesting one. But other than that, I do think Kenneth Gainwell is kind of interesting because I agree with you, Marcus. I don't think he's going to get paid like a 1 or anything like that, but he could be a legit weapon as we have seen wherever he goes. Like he's not a great runner. He's kind of just what he is in that regard. And that's kind of been established, although he was more explosive last year, but he is a legit weapon out of the backfield as a pass catcher. So curious if he goes to a team, I'm trying to think of like the Chiefs from a year ago, right? Where they had like plotters, but they didn't really have anyone who could be dynamic in the passing game, like somewhere like that. I think he could be a cheap signing that greatly outlives the amount of money he gets paid.
I think that's absolutely fair. The name that I stuck on here was Travis Etienne, just because I don't know. It feels like the Jaguars don't love him. Like, yeah. And I don't really understand why. Like, I think he's performed well for them, but it always feels like they're trying to bring somebody else in, right? To take opportunities. I think they've never truly unlocked his pass catching ability the way that it was in college. I don't know. I want better for Travis Etienne.
Well, like I had talked to Mee O'Brien. She's a beat writer for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and speaking to her over the summer, they were saying that they love TJ, they love Travis there, and I think that he's a good locker room presence. But like you said, I don't know if Liam Cohen loves him as much as the locker room or us love him in Jacksonville. So I honestly think there could be a slim chance, an opportunity for him to spread his wings and find a place that appreciates him as a one, because he just had an amazing season. Like, I just feel like, if they're going to move on and look to Tootin, I think they're going to have to be filling some holes. So if he does stay, they're going to have to pay him a big bag, because, like, I think his market is a lot bigger than we expect, too.
He's run for 1,000 yards in 3 of 4 seasons. He's had two seasons with double-digit total touchdowns. He's had at least 35 catches in every season. And that's, again, kind of with limited use in the passing game.
Serviceable. Yeah.
I think he can do more than that. I think he can be better than that. They just don't really incorporate that. And at first it was Tank Bigsby, and then there's Bashaw Tootin. I mean, it just seems like every year there's some new guy that's coming to try and threaten.
Don't forget LQ. LaQuan Allen.
I mean, exactly. But there's but that's the point, right? When you keep going through lists of backup running backs that are threatening to knock Travis Etienne off the top of the perch, and it's like, at some point, if I'm him, like, I get it. The Jags seem to be on the rise. They had a great finish to the year. I just, I want to feel loved if I'm Travis Etienne. And I don't know that I always feel the love in Jacksonville.
And I think Tootin could play, man. Like, when the Jags played the Bills in the playoffs, every time that Tootin touched the ball, I was afraid, right? Like, it felt like when they weren't giving him the ball, it was a win for the Bills. He turned 4 carries into 51 yards in that game. Like, he was hitting home runs, it felt like, every time he touched it. So I do think he could play, and there's some juice there. And he was, this regime's pick, whereas Etienne was from past regime.
Yeah. What about Travis Etienne to Kansas City?
I would love
that.
That.
Make a lot of sense.
We keep wanting the Chiefs to get that true dual threat running back. I mean, back when we thought Clyde Edwards-Helaire was going to be that guy, and yeah,
they got to strike this year, right? Because
biggest fantasy fail.
You can't rely on Mahomes running coming off the ACL whenever he's back. So, like, you need your run game to get, like, if they have a running game like last year, they're going to be worse than they were last year. Like, it's because Mahomes was saving them. So I think this is the time where the Chiefs are actually, but I know they can, look, the cap, you could do all this jumping jacks and move it right now, but they're in a really bad space cap-wise.
Yeah. But, like, I can't imagine they're going to keep riding with Isaiah Pacheco. They just
restructured. They restructured Mahomes' contract, so they got a little bit of wiggle room money, but they're still $13 million over the cap. So I do. Yeah,
they can't let it ride with Kareem Hunt anymore.
Eric Bieniemy's back, so you never know. You never know.
You know what's going to happen? They're going to sign Kareem Hunt to like a mid-league minimum or something like that, and keep giving him the goal line work. And it's going to make, if it's ETN or whoever they get, it's just going to be frustrating. Like, if
it's Brees,
I hope not.
You do not sign Kareem Hunt. If it's Brees that makes that move, they tag and trade, which I could see probably happening. But why not?
Yeah, that's interesting, because, like, we didn't really kick around that idea that they could tag Brees
because they want to tag him, and I'm pretty sure he's like, tag me and trade me.
He doesn't really want to be there. So.
Yeah. Because I think that's the best scenario for him anyway, though. Because you're getting out and you're getting paid for 1 year to prove it wherever you go. Then that would be that team's problem to extend you.
Hunt played for $1.5 million last year. Like, if he's ready to run that back again, I don't think they shy away from it.
Yeah, they'll do that if that's what he's willing to do.
The Kareem bunt was their best play.
I mean,
disgusting name.
They can't, though, right? I mean, they just can't do that again this year. Like
You can't
They
showcase him, but he could be a goal line runner, I think.
Man, the way Mahomes is talking, like what the word on the street is that he's going to be ready for week 1. And then again, I highly doubt that. Like you said, him running, that's what made magic the first half of the season. Actually, all season, him running. And it's like, if you're not going to get that, what are you going to get out of this offense with no weapons?
I think he could be back week 1. We're just not going to see him run. Like, he'll get rid of the ball
crazy.
quickly.
If he's
maybe
back
play out of
week
the
1,
gun.
bro, he got different money. That's what it is.
well, I mean, that's true. He does have.
He got different money.
We already know that much.
He owns a baseball team, so yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
You got different bread in the recovery.
Exactly. Finally, wrap this up with some tight ends. Some of the big names out there: Travis Kelce, big shoulder shrug of what he does. David Njoku, Dallas Goedert, Kyle Pitts. Some of the other names of notes: Cade Otton, Chig Okonkwo, Isaiah Likely, Darren Waller. LQ, you are sort of the tight end whisperer here on this show. Which name is the most interesting out of that group for you? Is it Njoku? Is it?
No,
Chig,
it's actually
maybe?
Dallas Goedert. Like,
Okay.
I can see him possibly on the move, like Commanders within division or even the Tampa Bay. I mean, this is all teams that I think will be able to utilize him and get what they can out of him. But, like, his time with the Eagles, it's kind of just like, all right, well, do you have a higher ceiling? Like, do you have anything new that you learned this offseason? I don't know. I just feel like they have other issues, trying to figure out with A.J. Brown as well. So if, like, A.J.'s on the move, then Dallas stays. But I think Dallas Goedert still has something in the tank where he can be serviceable. Like, I'm not saying he's up there in age as a Zach Ertz, but we saw Zach Ertz be very famous to be relevant when he went to the Commanders. So I think a move within the division is possible. I honestly think that, Dallas Goedert and Tampa wouldn't be a bad idea if they lose Mike Evans.
Interesting. Especially if they lose Mike Evans and Cade Otton.
Yeah, I don't think Cade comes back.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
He was okay.
I'm highly invested in where Isaiah Likely goes.
I was so surprised that the Ravens really seemed
they signed the
locked
wrong
in
tight end
with Mark Andrews. Like that sort of surprised me, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is there something we don't know about Isaiah Likely? That's the part that I'm wondering.
He has been very up and down, but like when no Mark Andrews is out there, like he's stepped up. And I know again, like everyone paid all that fab in week 1 2 years ago, and then he kind of was never that guy again. But I can't shake that game out of my head. Like I watched him do that and saw him play that well. So if he goes to a team where he could be the starting tight end and get consistent volume, I think he's going to be really interesting next season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do want to see where he goes. Is Darren Waller still going to be a thing in 2026?
Yeah.
He could be the way he was this past year, like a just absolute red zone monster. But not a whole lot else, I don't think. I don't think his body can physically hold up to playing all of his snaps. Because even last year, like he was playing like 40 to 50% of the snaps a lot of games, but they were picking their spots with him.
Yeah. That's sort of the thing is that like, I guess the other part of this though, right? We're talking about, he was a red zone monster. Will the next version of the Dolphins be in the red zone consistently?
I don't think it's in Miami. I think he goes somewhere else.
Okay. I was like, hey man, it's great. You do a lot of work in the red zone. Too bad we're never there. know?
That's the catch right there. I do think he still has something in the tank because again, we were just like Darren Waller.
Oh yeah, no, I blew him off.
I liked Darren Waller. I'm just putting that out there.
You liked his music. You downloaded it, didn't you?
I've always been a believer in Waller.
I will give you credit. You were definitely ahead of the curve on him because I was just like,
I just couldn't believe what he was displaying because even beyond the red zone, this guy was hitting the field vertically and making some great looking passes. Like, I don't know, because there's still questions at the quarterback position in Miami if he does stay because they want him back. Like, this is straight from the GM. Like, they want him back and like the door's open for him. But like anywhere else, then it's like we're talking about a different situation in its own.
Yeah.
He missed 6 weeks last year due to injury in the middle of the season. So like,
bro, it took him like 6 weeks to get on the field.
That's
always going to be a concern with him, right? Like,
short him out.
He'll be a tight end too. I'll draft him as a tight end too.
He's a tight end too who you can stream who you can stream when you
But
need
he
to.
has to go through camp. Like, he needs to be signed, like, as soon as March hits in free agency. Like, he needs to be signed somewhere.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen.
OTAs, I need all that.
I legitimately won a league last year with Darren Waller because in the I think it was the semifinals or the first week of the playoffs, he scored 2 touchdowns on Monday Night Football, and I won by like a point because of that. And then that team went to win a championship. So shout out to Darren Waller, man. I'm always going to have love for the big fella.
All right. Darren the Baller Waller getting some love from Michael F. Florio. So there you go. That was our quick free agency primer, I guess, if you will. But this is not the last we'll talk about it. Back next week, we'll start kind of diving into individual teams, some of their needs, and maybe some names that might work out for them. So in the meantime, though, that'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Get some beignets and a po' boy while you're down there, LaQuan. And we will talk to the rest of you on Tuesday.